right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you can hear me okay, please let me know in the chat. As always, once in a while, my stream labs, for some reason, messes with my mic, and sometimes it's not working. But it looks like I reset it, and yeah, it looks like it's good. Just let me know in the chat if it's good, too loud, or soft. Yeah, so got some, so I've been working on a video. I think I told you guys this on Monday, because I wanted to start making some more short form content, in between my live shows. And I kind of wanted to do a series, and the first part of the series is just doing the lights video and just kind of breaking down everything that we know from the entire year and everything that I've discovered and all the stuff that people have helped me worked on this. And anyway, so as I was building this, because I'm just about halfway through, I've been staring at that footage again for the last 2 days. And last night and this morning, it hit me. I discovered something that's been right in front of my face this entire time. I just cannot believe I just didn't put two and two together. But here we are. Now, I just want to say, I know whenever I say I found a clue, people think, some people think, okay, this is going to be like, it's going to solve the case. Probably not, but at the very least, it gives more context and maybe it can help in other ways. And I'll obviously explain that as we go on. But everything that I have discovered, I sent to law enforcement and dogs team, so they do have that. Before we get started, we always like to get back by featuring a missing person. And today I have Aiden Clune. This is a case that I've worked on, especially last year. I was out boots on the ground with a drone. He went missing in April back in 2022. He was just 19. If you're familiar with the Dylan Rounds case, him and Dylan Rounds almost kind of went missing around the same time, even though their cases are not connected, but they were almost just like 300 miles apart. He was in Nevada and Dylan Rounds was in Utah. But again, no connection, but he went missing a month prior to Dylan Rounds. But the short story is that he was kind of suffering from some mental health issues, sadly, and he kind of left his home from California, drove into Utah, and then ended up in Nevada, in the northeastern part of Nevada, and then ended up in the town of Wells. And then he woke up at a motel and then ended up driving south on this US 93. And at some point, he just ended up pulling his truck off to the side and then wandered off into the Cherry Creek mountain range. And he's never been seen since. And so we've been out there. I've done many searches. For those that are OGs to this channel know that I've put my heart and soul into this case. And last year, we actually found the first ever physical evidence of Aiden Clune. And that was his shoes, which was amazing. I'm sorry, my fan kicked on. Hold on. It's my little space heater. So anyway, the long story is so when we found those shoes, it was kind of in the late summer. Late summer. And anyway, the family wanted to get out there with some cadaver dogs, and they did. But unfortunately, because of this area, it's a kind of higher elevation. Even though it's kind of early fall, you can start getting, snow and heavy precipitation in that area, which obviously creates an issue when they're trying to do their search for the, with the cadaver dogs. So this year they're going to go back out. So probably maybe next week, sometime this month, we're going to do a live where, if you guys want to donate, all the donations that we have on that show will go towards the family and those cadaver dogs, because I know we could bring them home this year. So again, this is kind of a channel where we kind of multitask, because Sebastian Rogers is a big case. Unfortunately, there's so many missing and we can only do so much as creators, but I always try to help the little people as we're covering the bigger cases. It's kind of a, just kind of helps out the little people. But anyway, so moving on. Let's, because I know you're all here to hear what we discovered. And let's see, let me just make sure I have everything set up. If you can, please hit that like button. I would love to get this out to everybody. But real quick, I'll just play a 1-minute recap. That makes sure I can see if the live is going well. And we'll do that, and then we'll get right into the clues that I discovered. And again, thank you to everybody taking the time out of their day to show up. We have Seth in here. We have Mr. East Crimecast. Shout out to all these wonderful creators and people in here supporting this channel, and more importantly, Sebastian Rogers. All right, so let's play a 1-minute recap real quick, and then we'll get right into it, guys.
Juvenile 2008 Traffic Court 1008 Traffic Court Commissioner. Caller advised this morning they was having a 15-year-old male not in the bed. We have right now 3 blonde hair back in my bed, but we're going to turn down. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a kind of autism. It's the first time it happened. Right now to be in the home before midnight. All the doors are locked at this time.
Informer.
Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic teenager who lives in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was last seen Sunday night on February 25th by his mother, Katie Proudfoot. The next morning, on the 26th, his mother went to wake Rogers up and get him ready for school, but Rogers was nowhere to be seen. Sebastian Rogers was allegedly wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, his glasses, and his keychain flashlight. They also claimed that all of his shoes were accounted for, which means he is most likely barefoot.
The Amber Alert and last sighting, which the date says February 26th. On Monday, February 26th, an endangered child alert was issued for then 15-year-old.
Okay. All right. All right, Christina, good to see you, sweetheart. Thank you so much, and I love that comment. God bless you, and thank you so much for the support. Hope you're doing well. Let me get this set up. Okay, so 1 hour 15 minutes here, Mark. Okay. Let's see, right about... Let's see, we're going to go ahead and start it. Okay. All right. This is what we'll start it. So we can kind of explain. I know most of you probably know a lot of this stuff, but I'm just going to kind of go over just kind of how the videos came about, and then we'll get into what I discovered.
Is it file? And I'm told it could.
So, of course, the first, video of the lights video, obviously was introduced by Nick Barris. He got a hold of some footage, and so we have what I call the Nick Barris version, which he showed in. There's like 2 different clips. There's this one here, and then there's one where he uploaded to Facebook where it's a minute and I think it's like a minute and 37 seconds or something like that. And anyway, so I'm just going to play this part here just to kind of explain each version of the footage, because it's very important to understand this in the context.
Become more significant depending on where the ongoing investigation leads.
So we have the Nick Barris video. And so obviously I kind of showed, because at the time when we just had the Nick Barris video, obviously it was zoomed in. We didn't really have a lot of context of where the video was, kind of positioned, right? We just had these 2 lights up kind of the top here, which are floodlights from the home across the street. Keep in mind, because of the driveway and where the camera is positioned, everything is tilted, and that's just because the camera is kind of angled down, and you're on a driveway that's kind of on a bank, And because of that position, it makes, obviously the cars are kind of facing, at an angle. So that means, things that are running across are really, they're not running, like down. It's just because we need to tilt the footage to the left. But anyway, Nick Barris's video, this is where it would actually be located,
which would be a cropped and zoomed in portion of the surveillance video, leaving the public without much context. But I take a still shot from the zoomed out video so you can see where the Nick's portion is coming from. What many did not know is how Subject 1 and Subject 2 originally got labeled as they appeared. I recently figured out how I believe they came to the conclusion.
So that's just kind of a simple explanation of the Nick Barris video.
In one of the leaked videos, we can actually see.
And then from there, we had 3 leaked videos. And these are the ones that we're going to focus on tonight. And just kind of give kind of explain how they came about.
Subject 1 appear by itself and move across the screen. The Nick Barris video shows what happens right after. This video shows how they labeled Subject 1 and 2 as only one light appears first, then Subject 2 follows. Not long after the Nick Barris video was released, in one of the Facebook groups for Sebastian, someone would post 3 more clips of the surveillance footage from that night. These videos would reveal a lot more than just lights moving in the background. One of the biggest issues from these videos is that the timestamp is frozen at 3:11 a.m. This has caused much confusion on when this video was actually recorded. On top of that, when looking at the newer clips, it appears that a car is seen turning on its lights. Meanwhile, flashlights are moving around before and after this mysterious vehicle appears.
Okay. So now you guys kind of have the context of, we had the Nick Barris version, and then we have 3 more leaked footages, or 3 more clips that were leaked a little bit later on after the Nick Barris video. Throughout the whole last year, I've tried to put those in order and finally kind of figured out how they labeled Subject 1, because the first clip that was leaked actually just shows Subject 1 moving. And then when you add in Nick Barris, it's kind of like the second part to what's going on, because then you have Subject 1 and 2. But we're not going to be really focusing on what they're doing, much debate, even though it's very important what's going on in the background. But we're going to be focusing on a different part.
On where and what the lights are, where they're coming from, and on.
Okay. All right, so we've got 1,000 people in here. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. I promise you this will be very interesting. Let me get it set up to the spot that I have it. And here we go. Okay, so let me just play this part. As you guys know, my theory, and this isn't just my theory, but I think this is a collective theory for a lot of people of what could have happened or likely happened, is we have this 2:58 3 a.m. car that drives up Killen and then turns back around, right? Then at some point, it would stop, allegedly, just before Stafford. Not sure which home it. There's a couple of homes just across from where Sebastian Rogers' home's at. It's believed it stopped somewhere between one of these homes. That's going to be highlighted here. And that's important. This car, what this car does is very important. And we'll explain why here in a minute, what I discovered in the footage. But it's believed it stopped. And my theory is it let maybe 1 or 2 people out, and then they walked back towards the Proudfoot home, in my opinion. And then the car would then drive and turn onto Stafford. And there are some major clues that I discovered last night and this morning that confirm more of this this theory. So let me play this part here, and then we're going to look at the clips, and I'm going to show you. So here it is. And meanwhile, I just want to say, there are, I cannot elaborate right now, but for those that know, there are things that are going on right now. Had some very exciting phone calls that had nothing to do with what I discovered. So there are a lot of moving parts going on right now. But again, I can't elaborate right now. But I can just tell you there are things going on, and I'm very excited because all it takes is that one piece, I think, for this case to break wide open. Okay, so then the car, I think after it lets some people out, then turns onto Stafford. This is very important, and I found some evidence to back this up. Even though this has always kind of been the theory, there's more to this now that I have discovered that can back this theory up even more. All right, so is this part it? Okay, this is it. All right. So remember, we have 3 clips that were leaked, right? First video, so as you can see, I labeled it video 1. This video is the one where it starts to show a subject 1 kind of moving. It's not a long video. I think it's, I want to say 39 seconds. And so let's play this. Let me move. Make sure you guys can see it. And there's something, and it was right in front of my face the entire time. And I've seen this, but I kind of chalked it off as something else. So now I put this red line to kind of show you that's where, the first subject starts to move. But our focus is actually going to be over here, and it's very important. So again, we can see subject 1. If you're on your cell phone, I do apologize because we're not really going to be focusing much on the actual movement of the lights. We're going to be focusing on this side because there are some clues that were sitting right in front of me this entire time that happened. So we're going to now replay this clip. Again, remember, it's only like 39 seconds or less. I know I have all the times down. Okay, so I zoom in. All right, so keep your focus on this area right here. This truck and this. Notice there is a light source, right? Seems to be one static light source that they have on, like a floodlight, right? That they just, I believe, keep on all night. That way, because if it's completely dark and you have surveillance footage and someone, breaks into your vehicle and you have no lights, well, that's not going to help. So I think they have one static light on, from what I understand, the entire night. But they also have a motion censored light. So watch this truck and even part of the Dodge Challenger or Charger goes really quick. You guys see that? Let me know if you guys saw that. I'll back it up one more time, and we'll definitely elaborate. There's a lot more to it, but notice it's dark, and then notice, boom, all of a sudden there is a second light source that gets activated. So clearly there is movement that is causing this motion light to be activated. This is huge. And this tells me that there's something going on. So that's video 1, right? Okay. So now we'll go to video 2. Okay. So I think I just do another replay just to kind of show. But one more time, just for anybody that's didn't see it, video 1, Keep in mind, boom, this is a little bit faster. You can kind of see it kick on real fast. Let me just back that up one time. Right there. Again, it's going to reset here in just a second. And yeah, I've seen this. Obviously, I've seen this a million times. Well, not a million times, but probably 1,000 times. What I originally thought it was is I thought, because, you know, someone's using their cell phone, and I thought maybe because they had moved the cell phone a little bit, because, you know, they're trying, you know, because there's always movement in these clips. I thought that maybe the light source just kind of picked up more. But I didn't even think about a motion sensor that's kicking on, a second light that's kicking on. And that's what's happening. And like I said, it was there the entire time. I've seen it happen a bunch of times, but I just thought, you know, when they play the video, that they kind of moved their cell phone and the light just kind of picked up more on the camera. And so I just kind of chalked it off, but I didn't even think about it being a secondary source, which is a motion censored light, which is huge. So now, after seeing this, let's look at video number 2. Now notice, so video number 2 is where we have what I call the Scout up sitting there. Remember the Scout, and like I said, I'll do a full video that's not a live, but a short video explaining everything in these videos that I've discovered up to this date. But this is where the car kicks on its lights. But notice, do you guys notice something? We can see the original light source that is just on statically, right? Somewhere up here, and we'll look at a street view in a minute. But notice we can't see the Camaro, the light. Notice the truck is not illuminated as well as it was before. Now watch what happens. This is a 35-second clip, but I believe this clip is what they do is they hit play, and then once the car turns on its lights, they pause it, and then they take their cell phone and then zoom in, but the video's paused once the car kicks on its lights. But notice the motion light sensor is not on anymore. And I'll explain what I think is going on in a minute, but I want to play the first 3 clips and show you. So here's the car light turning on, but notice the motion light sensor is not on. Now we move to video 3, which video 3, unfortunately, is the worst quality of the 3 videos, unfortunately. But there's something glaring in video 3. Now, video 3 is where, if we were to focus on the top right with the lights moving, this is the one where we see a subject running back towards, in my opinion, somewhere near the Proudfoot's back home or whatever, the common area. But they are clearly running across. But notice, even though it's kind of bad quality, and we will examine further on this, but notice the floodlight is back on again. And I'll explain, we'll go through this again, and I'll kind of explain what I believe is going on here. So notice we can clearly see that that light is now illuminated, and that motion sensor has been triggered again. But the thing's going back. Notice we don't see no car. And here is the 2. Here's video 3 at the top, and here's video 1, just to kind of show you the examples. Notice we can see much more of the light, and same with video 1. And so I'll just play that just to show you that that light is on. Notice then the light kicks on. So there we have that. So, all right. Okay. So this is obviously the home. Now, this is a street Google view. This is July 2023, obviously. So Sebastian obviously would go missing 8 months later, something like that. So I don't see a floodlight. Maybe they installed that later. But this is the thing that we want to focus on. And if anybody's, knows a lot about motion sensors, want to email me. I'd like to know like the distance. So if you guys remember this crew that went out there that just really pisses me off. But they went out there to try to recreate, and try to figure out where everything's at, and of course they try to produce this narrative. But I went back to their footage because clearly they went back to the home, and I noticed something right away. Obviously the boat is kind of in the same position. We have the same truck, but I think it's the white truck and not the black truck, but it's pretty much everything's kind of in the same spot more or less. And we're obviously kind of a little bit closer. This is not taken from the actual surveillance. This is taken from, a phone of some sort. But notice what we see right here in the window. This is huge. I know people are saying some stuff in the back, people are donating. I'll get to the chat here in a bit, but I just want to get this because I know there's Seth, and I know there's possibly some people watching that need to see this. Even though I sent everything to the law enforcement and dogs team. But so notice and I'll kind of zoom in here, and then we're going to go back. But notice the reflection in this window. Obviously, this is a reflection of the motion censored light that is coming from this one. Notice we can actually even see the boat here. So this light source is kind of sitting up here, and this is the motion censored, and that is obviously the thing that triggers whenever there's motion, right? Even though there is another static light that is up kind of more towards the back up here, that is always on. Right, so we have one main light source that appears to be always on. So now what is going on? How do we put this all together? Diana says motion sensor lights have different settings on them. I think you're exactly right. So one more time, this is video 2. Remember, this is the one with the car where it turns on its lights. Notice the motion light is off. It'd be interesting to know the distance because I'm going to explain what I think is going on. I'm going to put this all together for you guys and why I think it's important. And it just adds more to the context of what we've been saying for the longest time, right? So again, we have this motion sensor clearly pointing, towards the street. And so I believe this is what, in my opinion, happened to cause this. Let me see here. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. All right. So the car goes up the street, comes back, lets some people out. And then what I believe happens is I believe the car, it has its lights off and turns on to Stafford. And if anybody else has a theory, please let me know. But this is the best theory I have right now. I believe the car is the culprit to creating the motion sensor. Yes, it always could be a person, but I think it's the car. And what I believe happened for the first video is I think as it turned on to Stafford, I think it had its lights off, which obviously is a huge red flag if true. clearly, we do have evidence that the car had its lights off at some point. So I think when it turned on to Stafford, it had its lights off, right? So this car is actually turning on to Stafford in video 1, in my opinion, creating this motion light sensor to kick on, right? Even though, because remember, we have like a 4th generation version of this footage, right? Obviously, TBI, law enforcement has much better quality of this footage. They could probably even see the car even if it's not lit up. But unfortunately, we have just, a really crappy quality. But we could still, figure out and speculate on some details. So what I think happened, well, the first 2 subjects are now starting to move in the background because the light kicks on before we see subject 1. So I think this car had now kind of turned on to Stafford with its lights off, but it created enough motion that it set off the sensor, in my opinion. So that car turns on with its lights off, creating this motion censored light to kick on video 1. Then because it sat there for a certain amount of time, I believe it kicked off, right? Because I know there's certain, I know you can set that, how long the lights are going to be on, if it gets triggered. And notice, right now for video 2, we know this car is here because it's going to kick on its lights. But notice the motion light is now not on now. So that tells me that the car turned on to Stafford a little bit, sitting here, and has been sitting there for a certain amount of time, that the motion light sensor is now off, right? And then they're doing whatever they're doing, moving possibly Sebastian, and I think they position themselves there so they can see into the common area. And remember, I got it zoomed in, but remember, if I zoomed out a little bit, we have that one subject, what I call the scout, that is standing there in in an interesting position, somewhere either between this home here or even maybe between this home. But we see it standing there while the car is sitting here. And in my opinion, that is so they can see what's going on this direction. They can also kind of see what's going on Killen. Because I think they're moving Sebastian over onto Killen, and then the car is now going to back up. Right? So the car's been sitting there, no motion light. And this is why I know this video gets paused right away. Is so the car turns on its lights, and then I think they paused the video. And then they wanted to zoom in because I think they wanted to see, try to show the car, right? But I just didn't, I don't think they realized because they're using a cell phone and the lighting, it just wouldn't pick up. But they were trying to do their best. But in my opinion, the second that car turns on its lights, the video gets paused. And then they just kind of zoom in. But I believe if this just would have played out, I think the car would have kicked on its lights and then it would have backed up, right? And then that's where we move into video 3. So we can see once again 2 examples. Video 1 where the lights are on. Notice the difference. We can see the Dodge Challenger. I'll even circle it. So remember, this is the one where the car, and this is the first video. Notice the lighting. We can see much more of the truck, and we can see the lighting on top of the Dodge right here. So then the car would now, it'd kick on its lights, and now it's going to back up, And then that's where we move into clip number 3. And obviously, since now the car kicked on its lights and backs up, now that creates motion. And now we can see, even though this is the worst quality, but I can, you can see the top of the Camaro, remember, and we can see more of the truck. We can tell the motion light is now back on. The car in video 3, I'm just kind of showing a recreation. I think it's already gone. It's already backed up. But because of that, it has kicked on its lights. And I think it's already been backed up. And now they have put, Sebastian in the car. And then, of course, at the same time, since the car has now already backed up onto Kellen, probably picked up those people. And then at the same time, we have the one individual running across back. But then, of course, as I've noticed, I've told you guys in previous lives, we still have what I call the damn scout sitting there, and they even reveal themselves sitting there at the end of video 3. So I think, in my opinion, I know it's not going to be like it's going to solve the case, but I think this adds more context of what's going on. If anybody has, some other ideas of what they may think could have caused this is the best theory I could come up with right now. But I do think this just adds a little more context and clearly shows something, at the very least, set this motion sensor light off not once, but twice that we know of. And to me, that's huge. So yeah, what do you guys think? Like I said, I've sent that all over to TBI and all the members. Let me get to, I'm just going to back this up and just kind of let it play for a minute. You guys can see it so I can get the chat. I will say, again, I can't get into specific details, but there are things going on behind the scenes. And again, I just, at the time, I can't elaborate. Maybe down the road, I can, maybe talk a little bit more about vague details. But of course, I've tried to build a great rapport with my sources. And of course, I would never jeopardize that, because bringing Sebastian home is the most important thing to me. Leslie and Billy says, Chris, always here for you. For you like you are for us. Thank you, Leslie and Billy. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world. I cannot tell you, because I think a lot of you, especially the OGs, know how much I've spent hundreds of hours staring at this footage, and that is no joke. Melanie, I believe. Chris, you do good work. Thank you so much. That I cannot tell you how much that means. Moni with the $5 super chat. God bless. Thank you so much. Jilly, member for 6 months. God bless you. Lily Polly, almost a year. That is so awesome. God bless you, Lily. Cecilia, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. God bless you. Marge, fascinating. Thank you so much. That means the world. Truly. Like I said, I think my migraine has kind of gone away. I think I can take these off for a minute. Because yeah, it's a lot. It takes a toll staring at this stuff. And it's funny that I've been looking at this and it was right in front of my face the entire time. Let's see. We have Panda Bear's mom. Awesome work. Let's bring Sebastian home. Sebastian Strong. Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much. Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches. Great YouTube name. I love that. Thank you so much for becoming a member. God bless you guys. Oh, geez, just like people that have been with me for a long time. Just kind of some slang, It stands for original gangsters, but, we just use that as a... just a phrase for the people that have been here for, because I've been doing this for, I don't know, 2.5 years. And we're almost at 90,000 subscribers, and that'd be so amazing to hit that. You can't see me. You amaze me. Great work. Thank you so much. Imagine if I could have more footage, man. I would love to just help, these guys, because you never know what could be sitting right in front. Again, like I said, the whole thing about this footage, I really thought, because, I'd seen it, I'd seen this kind of stuff light up, and I really just thought it was from just the person with the cell phone that's recording the monitor, that the way that they kind of maybe moved the phone kind of maybe captured the light to where it just kind of lit up more, which now kind of sounds stupid now thinking about it, but I know, it can affect that in some ways. But I didn't even think about a motion sensor, right? But there's clearly a stationary light source that they have on, and then there's clearly a motion sensor that they've got. And this thing got triggered, at least, from the footage that we have, it got triggered twice. And it's just really odd that, right here in the first video, and this is when things are just starting, and I don't think the people walking way out there, I don't know, 100 plus feet, I'd have to measure it, but they're out there quite a ways. I don't think they would have set the motion sensor off. So that means there was something closer to this home that set this motion sensor off. And the fact that between video 1 and 2, now the car is there on video 2. So I think the car had the lights off and it turned on to Stafford, but that the motion sensor caught that, right? And that just goes to show who's out there, what are the odds that you got these moving lights going on, you got this suspicious car that's, driving with its lights off at certain points, sits there, and then backs up. And also, one of the reasons why I think that they backed up is I think clearly they did some reconnaissance, right? Clearly this, to pull this off, they've, whoever did this has gotten away at least for a year now. So clearly they studied, this. And I think what happened is, I think they knew if they were going to open the car doors, right? I guess you could switch them off, the lights, in your car. If they thought it, because clearly they thought ahead. But I do wonder, if they knew some of where the camera angles were, and the car kind of backed up somewhere around here, and when they were letting the people in or out, they wanted an area that was a blind spot, right? Just in case if the car did have its light, the interior lights turn on when the doors open up, if that makes sense. So yeah, but of course, they could have just kicked the lights off. But that's my theory on that. And I see a lot of people saying that's awesome. God bless you guys. I am gonna, like I said, I'm working on a series for you guys that, it's short form content, so it's not these hour-and-a-half lives. It's just something that you can digest quickly, and it's a series. So I wanted to upload it by tonight, but I've discovered this new lead, and I'm like, holy shnikes, I've got to, send this over. Queenie Hamblin, thank you so much for becoming a member. God bless you, sweetheart. Holy shit. Holy crap. I'm sorry. Henry Dog gifting 10 Mob Crew memberships. That is so awesome. If you did get gifted a Mob Crew membership, if you could thank the person, we will do a membership live tomorrow. We'll kind of go over some other cases just to kind of, we'll do a bunch of different things. And then, holy hell, we have Hush Pup with 50 mob crew memberships. That is absolutely, I cannot thank you enough, Hush Pup. That is so awesome. My thing's just going off like crazy. I'm sure my mods are like, turn that thing off. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can get, I don't know if I can get that turned off right now. But thank you so much, Hush Pup. If you did get gifted, please, if you could thank them. Gigi of 5, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you so much. And again, this is a team effort. You know, we're a team, right? And again, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I have no problem admitting, and but I'm gonna try to do everything I can from my platform to help bring closure to this case. Because I mean, I feel like they're just, because they don't have Sebastian, whether hopefully alive, but because they don't have Sebastian, it's like they need something else, on the other end of things to be able to get that warrant to, get an arrest, and again, it could just be one thing that they need. And, I pray every day that I wake up and I get that message saying, bam, here we go, or Sebastian has been found alive. That, of course, that would be the miracle of a lifetime. Henry Dog, awesome work, Chris. Thank you so much, Henry Dog. Holy cow. God bless you guys. I'm sorry I can't turn this thing off without messing something up. Let's see. There was one more thing. Because I know... so I'm going to shout out Mr. E Crimecast. I think they're going to go live soon. I'm going to play a clip of theirs real quick. And I have a lot of respect for Mr. E. Now, this has got a lot of controversy because I think they shared a lot of stuff that really a lot of people want to hear, but, this comes down to a credibility thing. But I think with Mr. E's Crimecast, them being a family, it's not just one person, like me, they got their family. And, all you have is your credibility. And I really, truly believe that they have sources. And let's just hear this is just some highlights from what they shared. And I think they're going to go live here in 10 minutes. So I'll probably finish up. But let's just hear what they have to say here.
Is that I think we're close. I kind of think it might happen this week. That'd be my prediction.
That's a bold statement.
And that's just because I think that. I know. It's just a prediction, so who knows, right? But just the way the momentum's been going, the boldness of Sumner County in some ways. They had been more close, holding their cards close to the vest in the past, but they, now in response on letters are openly saying it's a criminal investigation to the citizens where they wouldn't do that before. It came out.
Yeah, so I do think that's true. Obviously Nick Barris, I really, he should never he should have never went live. I think he's kind of on the outside, and I think he was trying to get in good graces by just. But anyway, let's listen to them. I'm sorry it's zoomed out. I forgot to
had a comment about that video. They're talking a little more. I just the way the Proudfoot are acting. I just think I have been predicting for months, and if you get a prediction right, you get it right, and if you don't, it doesn't matter really. I have kind of thought that we would be court reporters by the summer. That's kind of been the prediction I've been making, and. The Sumner County so far has had a thing for dates. On the 6-month anniversary, they did the reward announcement for the FBI, even though they knew about it several days earlier. They wanted to meet with Seth on Sebastian's birthday. And again, that kind of controlled the narrative a little bit for Sumner County because Seth came out right away after that meeting and was like, he was back on board with Sumner at that point, where they had kind of an icy or at least a distant kind of relationship for half a year almost.
Right.
And so, if they're kind of aware of public perception and things like that, then it would not shock me if on the 25th or the 26th we have an arrest. You've heard this part of it or not, but
the rumor is
it's a confirmed rumor.
okay. Go ahead.
It's a confirmed rumor
Okay.
for us. But they are attending. They attended at least one of their interviews with their lawyer present. So
Just think about that for a minute.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is interesting. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you know who they're talking about with the lawyer. This has kind of been speculated, and I've heard stuff, and of course, I always try to be careful because I always want to respect my sources.
So I'm going to get into that in a moment.
Yeah.
So we've heard the rumor back in around October or so. People were saying that Katie stopped talking and she's now lawyered up. We kind of believe that was the true.
And I've heard the same stuff from other sources, and yeah, not surprising.
The truth, but we don't, 100% do we know that, Tony says, you remember all those interviews that Seth had attorneys with him? Easiest question. I think if I ask any of you right now, who's the party responsible for Sebastian's disappearance?
and if-
Parties are that are responsible for the disappearance of Sebastian. And I haven't really had any questions about this for a while.
I don't know who put this video together, but anyway, yeah, great channel. I love them. It's so cute to see, a family come and, put all their kind of insight from different members. That's amazing. I have a lot of respect for them. Dropping some big bombshells. They are local out there, and, I believe them. And like I said, I'll kind of end with, before I kind of discovered this footage, or discovered this clue about the floodlights, motion lights being activated by some foreign source, which likely was the vehicle. I had a phone call with somebody, one of my sources, and heard some things that were going on. Obviously, I'm not going to get into details right now. Of course, if you guys know me, I know I tell you some of this stuff, and I know some people hate to hear that because then it's like, but if there's, in due time, I will expand on some of that. But right now, because like I said, I don't want to ruin any potential leads that could be discovered. But in due time, like I said, there are guaranteed. I was ecstatic before I discovered this morning. Like, I can't wait to go live and tell you guys that there's some things going on behind the scenes with certain entities, but we'll eventually talk about them. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Again, I'm not going to say, there's going to be a arrest next week, but I do think right now some of the best things that I've heard in a long time are happening. So I'm really excited. And hopefully, again, I don't know, to me, I think this is kind of big. This obviously adds more context to the vehicle, something moving, and the behavior of the vehicle. And, again, it's just adding a little bit more context. And that's just, we just slowly build on it, right? We're not just going to, discover the clue that brings, everything, or, brings it to an arrest. Sorry, I still have my migraine, so it's piercing every thought. I apologize. But you guys know what I'm trying to say. It's just baby steps, but, I'm trying to do my best on this side of things. And I just say, again, if anybody has footage out there that pertains to this case, if they want to share it to me, and they don't, I don't have to, need to share it publicly, right? If they want me to look at it, and if I find something, I can send it to TBI, and I am totally fine with that. I'm not a person that, has to be the first person to put out stuff or have exclusives. That's not my thing. I'm more focused on helping bring closure and finding Sebastian, right? No, I haven't. You know, I was told early on I look like Matthew Lillard from the first Scream. You know, he's one of the two killers, kind of the funnier one, the tall guy. SLC Punk. I forget other movies. There's been a lot. Matthew Lillard. I haven't seen in a long time. And the other one was, and this is when I had dyed black hair. I was told I'd look like the guy from Ghost Adventures. Zach Bagans, although I'm missing a lot of muscle. But anyway, yeah, I just need to get away from looking at a screen. I think that's what it is. So, you know, I could care less about the. Thank you, Susie. I could care about the reward, honestly. If by chance I did get a reward, I would just put that money towards another case, because that's how I do it. But the reward is not. But anyway, guys, I'm just gonna keep it there because I know Mr. E's going live, I think now. And I love all the support. You guys have been so amazing. And again, well, I think we're so close. Let me see. How close are we to our okay, so we need 75 more subscribers. Hopefully when I put that video out with the lights, that'll work. Or maybe this, but again, if you're out there and like to subscribe, I've got some short form content coming out. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll do a members live tomorrow as well. So, but with that, I think I'm going to finish. Just kind of leave on a high note. Just looking at chat. Maybe Friday we could kind of expand and see if anybody has, you know, after looking at it, they can kind of, if they have some theories on the motion light, it'd be interesting to hear. So, oh, no live tonight. Oh, I thought I saw something on Twitter. Okay, I apologize. Maybe that was yesterday. Okay, I apologize. Okay, maybe they're not going live. My apology. I swear I saw a Twitter that maybe or unless they canceled it, I could be wrong. So I do apologize. Ladybug Toots. Thank you so much, Ladybug, for coming a member. God bless you, sweetheart. Oh, thank you so much. Truly, guys, the love and support's amazing. Again, this is a family. This is a team effort. And I get so many wonderful emails. I guess they're not going live. The one thing I was going to say is, I know a lot of people are talking about this.
All right, so turn around, come back.
They thought it was AI. I don't think this is AI. I've seen a better version of this video. I think the one that was floating on Twitter is just a really, you know, it's like a 5th generation recording. So no, I don't think this is AI. Notice Chris. Notice how he's like, you got it. Notice the like the excitement and the the tones up and down.
We'll start turning around. Come back this way.
When you do AI voice cloning, it's pretty static, right? When you do AI cloning for voice, you know, I'm sure it's going to get obviously evolve, but right now the ones that I have, you know, I could obviously clone the voice, but it would just be kind of mono.
Pedal, don't stop. See? You keep it up, you do it, keep doing it.
My concern is, so here's the pictures, and there's some better pictures of him on the bike. My concern is how come he doesn't have a helmet on? Didn't he have, you know, that the fluid in his, like, on like one side of his brain, I think the left side, where if he did fall on his head, that could be fatal. So that does kind of scare me. I mean, maybe maybe there's something I don't know, but again, I believe this is actually real because I've seen some better quality versions of it. And here's one of the pictures from it. So I do understand the whole AI because the first video was kind of really janky. But I can tell from the audio that's not AI. The audio for sure I can tell you is not AI. There's a lot of motions, and AI doesn't have that. It's really monotone. To me, this is just an attempt from their side because, you have Seth, playing those voicemails, which just, oh my God, I was crying like a baby when I heard that, watching Tony and Jen, and of course Seth breaking down, listening to poor Sebastian, just leaving these sweet voicemails. Oh my God, it was so heartbreaking to hear. And then Dungeons and Dragons, listen about, and then here, I think this is just the other side trying to go, hey, look, we remember him too, but, here's footage from 2 years ago. It's just, I don't know. To me, it's pathetic. That's just my opinion. Oh, that's awesome. God bless you guys. Yeah, we'll try to do something special. We'll do like a giveaway. Like, I'll try to make a new shirt. We'll try to do like some giveaways or something for the 90K. So, all right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. There's actually some better pictures. I do believe it's Sebastian. Let's see. It's this one here. Or here. Actually, let me do this. Again, and in the beginning, I did kind of think it could be. See, look, that it's Sebastian. Again, I think the video that was on Twitter, it's just like it looked like it was filmed from a potato. I think it was just a recording of a recording of a recording, and it just lost so much quality that it just, you couldn't see him, but that's Sebastian. I'm sure Seth could probably, verify. But yeah, I'm more worried about the helmet, So, all right, guys, I'll end it there. I'm going to try to get this lights video out where it's just kind of like a 10 to maybe 15-minute video where, it's just everything that I've learned throughout the entire year, a little bit of backstory on the lights and everything. And I'm about halfway done with it. And yeah, it'll be exciting because then we'll kind of make this into a series where, it's not a live, it's just some short form content. So, Chantel, I hope I pronounced that right. I don't want to get specific. We will see. Yes, I have, in a way, talked about that. Thank you, Mystery. I just need to get away from the bright lights and staring at a screen for 8 hours. But we'll be back better tomorrow. If we hit 90K, we'll do a members live tomorrow. And I'll announce that on Facebook and on my community page. But 18 more, guys. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to end it there so we keep it sweet and short. Thank you to the big support donations there. Henry Dog, thank you so much. Another $50 donation. I missed that. I'm so sorry. Hush Pup, thank you so much. Henry Dog, God bless you guys. Thank you to the Patreons, the members, my lovely mods that come in, and of course, just to the overall community that comes together. And, God bless you guys. Oh, there's Seth. Yeah, that was also one of his coats, and the video seems to be done at the Remington address. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, that address looked familiar as well. So, thank you, Seth, man. God bless you, man, for staying strong. And, oh, my gosh, I've really broke down the last few days when I've watched your few clips, man. My heart aches for you, buddy. Prayers, man. There will be justice. And I hope Sebastian comes home. All right. And you guys get to play D&D again, man. That story was so cool to hear. Heartbreaking. All right, guys. We will see you likely tomorrow. We'll do a members live. And then maybe I'll also have a video for everybody else. Hopefully if I can finish it up. So, all right, guys.